Dear children, this is class 3 on Death in Venice by Thomas Mann. So, let us continue. So, in today's class, I am going to conclude the novel because already we have discussed in brief the two classes. In two classes, this plot of the novella, and in today's class, in third class, I am going to conclude the novella, and also we are going to discuss major themes in the novella. So let us go into the novel, that is the last part of the novella. The spreading sickness in Venice, which is important to the story's plot, is also symbolic of the sickness of passion overtaking Aschenbach. So the Aschenbach was behind the Tadzio, and the fact that the Italians deny the severity of the health hazard, so augments Mann's portrayal of Venice as a place of artifice, deceit, and corruption. So the next day, Aschenbach asks a clerk at the British travel agency about the Bacri site and finally forces him to admit the truth. So Asiatic cholera has migrated from West, that is from India. Asiatic cholera has migrated west from India. So it is now at several Mediterranean ports. So this is the news that he gets. So he comes to know that Asiatic cholera, that is from India, has migrated into their country. So in Austria, a man recently returned from Venice had been one of the illness first victims. The Italian authorities have hushed up the news for the sake of the tourist industry. And the clerk urges Aschenbach to leave as a quarantine will be instituted any day. But Aschenbach, he considers warning Tadzio's mother and returning home, but he remembers the Byzantine mortuary and the strange figure who first incited him to travel. So this comes in the first beginning of the novella, and he remembers that incident, and the thought of his life before these experiences fills him with repentance. He becomes inflamed thinking of the passionate adventures he and Tadzio could have if they were to stay on in a city full of chaos. So he wished to live there, to stay with the boy, to continue with the boy in the city. It is significant that the cholera is ancient in origin. So with the addition of this detail, the Indian jungle becomes a triply loaded motif. Mythologically, if you see, India is actually said to be the birthplace of cult of Dionysius. And now at the scientific or at the empirical level, it is the place of origin for the disease that will kill Aschenbach. So here, the disease is also directly referred to as the cause of moral debauchery. So the authorities' attempts to deal with it have been immoral, and that immortality has reaped further immortality. And so, although he learns that there is something fishy in Venice, Aschenbach decides to stay in Venice, and he continues constantly to follow the boy. So, word seems to have leaked out about the cholera, and hardly any tourists are left, but Tadzio's family remains. So, Aschenbach fantasies about everyone else dying or fleeing, leaving him alone with the boy. So the state of panic in Venice causes such preoccupation in everyone that Aschenbach no longer has to fear their suspicions of his infatuation, and he becomes more extravagant than ever in his pursuit of Tadzio. He begins to wear jewelry, perfume, and elaborate clothing, including a suit with a red tie. His aging body becomes, for him, a source of deep shame, and he begins to alter his appearance to look younger. And he imagines himself as Socrates and Tadzio as a Phaedrus, a relationship that mirrors the Greek Platonic ideal. So next day, if you seeing baggage piled in the hotel foyer, Aschenbach, he makes inquiries and learns that the Polish family is leaving. So he comes to know from the reception that Tadzio's family, the Polish family, is leaving after lunch that day. So he walks down to the deserted beach. Aschenbach watches Tadzio playing with his few remaining playmates. Aschenbach sets out to follow him. The narrator states that it is several minutes after Aschenbach's collapse in his chair that anyone comes to his aid and he is taken to his room. Later that day, the world with respectful shock received the news of his death. So Aschenbach finally dies, most likely from cholera. The world is stunned to hear of the death of such a famous man. So I think death in Venice has happened. So Aschenbach kept his passions under tight for control, maybe for a long time. So once Aschenbach begins to let down his guard against him, they rise up in redoubled force and take over his life. So this could be the reason for his death. All of his moral standard break down, and he becomes a slave to beauty, a slave to desire. He becomes debased. So thus Aschenbach undergoes a total displacement from one extreme of art to the other. It is from the cerebral to the physical, or we can say from pure form to pure emotion. So thus Thomas Mann's novella warns of the dangers indeed, that the deathly dangers posed by either extreme. So we should know to control both these, one form and second is emotion. So Death in Venice is written according to a method Thomas Mann called myth plus psychology. It is both these elements, myth and psychology, they play equally important roles in tracing Aschenbach's decline. So Tadzio is described in mythical terms, and he is compared to Greek sculpture, to the god of love, to Hyacinth and Narcissus, to Plato's character Phaedrus. And if you see other side, Aschenbach's trip across the lagoon in Venice is portrayed in terms that suggest the legendary journey across the river Styx into the underworld. So strange red-haired figures consistently reappear to Aschenbach, suggesting demons or devils. So all of these mythological references serve to universalize the characters and the experiences in the story. Psychological elements also figure prominently in the novella. So, the beginning of the plot, Aschenbach has firmly repressed his libidinal drives. Yet, as Freud would have predicted, repression only forces his drives to emerge by some other means, or through dreams. So, Aschenbach has daydreams with the intensity of visions. His daydream of a tropical swamp and his dream of the orgastic worship of the stranger god epitomize the Freudian longing for the ultimate erotic abandon in death. So now we'll discuss themes. First we'll see the Dionysian and the Apollonian concept. So Dionysian versus Apollonian. So Thomas Mann's Death in Venice is through the conflict of the Dionysian versus the Apollonian. So Nietzsche is the first who coined these terms in his work, The Birth of a Tragedy. So in Greek mythology, Dionysian is the god of the earth. So that is Dionysian, also known as Bacchus, is in the Greek. He is actually the Greek god of drunkenness and hedonism, and was usually depicted as a drunken half-man, half-goat, surrounded by dancing, half-naked youths. And his lower half, consisting of a goat's body, refers to his unrepressed sexual desire. So Aschenbach's final dream or vision before his death is markedly Dionysian orgy. And if you see Apollonian, Apollonian, god of sun, god of the sun. So therefore the Apollonian elements are those such as form, reason and self-control, where the Dionysian are much opposite, that is destruction, chaos, emotion, irrational. So Nietzsche claimed that the conflict between emotion, that is Dionysius, and reason stands for Apollo, was the cause of the age of Greek tragedy. So he also believed that the ideal person needed to maintain a balance of the qualities embodied by the two gods. Two gods is Dionysian and Apollonian, Apollo. So using these concepts, it is easy to understand Aschenbach's internal conflict in Death in Venice as a struggle between the Dionysian and Apollonian. So, in the beginning of the novella, we see how Aschenbach is an artist of Apollonian principles. He is disciplined, prides himself on self-control, and represses all irrational and emotional desires. Even though he has a desire to travel, Aschenbach is tempered and corrected by the reason and restraint that he exercised from his younger years. So, additionally, Thomas Mann also says of Aschenbach as disciplined. So he comes and he tells us that he is disciplined, most important to him. So he is disciplined. He never knew the idleness and carelessness of youth. This is how he describes Aschenbach. And he has been able to suppress his desires and any inclination towards the Dionysian. But when he sees the man in the cemetery, he is inspired. That is, this scene comes in the beginning of the novella. When he happens to see a man in the cemetery, he is inspired, that red-haired man. Okay, when he happens to see that red-haired man, Aschenbach is inspired to indulge his desire to travel and takes a vacation to Venice. And while in Venice, Aschenbach, he encounters a young boy, Tadzio, and instead of balancing the Apollonian with the Dionysian, he falls completely and immorality into the Dionysian. So, having suppressed his emotions and desires for so long, Aschenbach is unable to restrain himself once he lets go of his rigid Apollonian principles. And also in Aschenbach, in Tadzio, Aschenbach sees the epitome of beauty and youth and idealizes the young boy. And to Aschenbach, the boy was absolutely beautiful. And he describes the boy's face as, pale and of graceful reserve, surrounded by honey-colored curls. This is how Aschenbach describes Tadzio. And Tadzio becomes the vehicle for Aschenbach's Dionysian desires to become free, but as this occurs, Aschenbach lets go of his Apollonian side completely. And we can see homosexualism and also autobiographical element in this novella. So, Death in Venice is not only representative of some of the issues stated in man's personal body of work, it also reflects many of the most vital ideas discussed in literature during the time of its composition. Death in Venice was largely inspired by actual events in the life of its author. So, we have an evidence to prove this statement. So, man had been on an island near Venice in 1905 during a cholera outbreak, and he later travelled to the city in May 1911 because, like his character Gustav von Aschenbach, Thomas Mann was also exhausted by a difficult stage in his writing and felt the need for escape. So, he had actually travelled. So, Mann's diaries have illuminated his homosexual relationships. Moreover, it came to light that the story owed even more to fact than previously suspected. Actually, a Polish baron named Władysław Mose identified himself as the boy whom Mann fictionalized as Tadzio. So, this is the proof. Upon reading the Polish translation of the book, Mose recognized himself in the portrait of the boy. So, exotism is also a major theme in the novella, as indicated by its title. Death in Venice consists partially of travel writing. From Venice, the world holds three levels of familiarity for Aschenbach. So, lust is also another important theme. See, Aschenbach's desire for Tadzio is sudden and unexpected, considering he is a middle-aged man known for his discipline and control. But once the idea gets hold of him, he becomes more and more brazen in his pursuit of the boy. Mortality. So, it is not surprising that the journey of Aschenbach from self-discipline to abandonment can only end in death. In a city under the grips of cholera, we wonder how safe Tadzio, the other half of this physical attraction, will be. So, we have discussed major themes in this video, and the remaining we will see next class. Thank you.